Welcome everyone to another edition of the Case Wine Life Show, the most interesting wine channel on the internet. Why are we the most interesting wine channel on the internet? Because we consider wine a
food.
Thank you to our special perennial guest, Faraci, who is no longer with Republic National Distributing Company. She is now with the Winebow Group.
With Winebow, yes.
With Winebow, right?
Yeah,
right, Holly?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we want to congratulate her, and of course it would be remiss of us if we don't mention that we still have a lot of awesome friends at RNDC, and we wish them well, and as does Holly.
Yes.
And this is gonna be cool because Holly, has friends in high places, no pun intended, like ancient peaks. So we are here today with Jenilyn Johnson and Laura Baldarelli. Did I screw that up?
No.
I didn't screw that up. I shouldn't because I'm Italian. We're a fan of Italian wines here. But they've got some really, really interesting wines for us today to taste from Paso Robles.
Yes.
Is it Paso Robles or Robles?
Well, it matters if you live there or not. So if you live there, you say Paso Robles. But if you do not live there, in general, people say Paso Robles. Now, I agree with kind of the Paso Robles because it is a Spanish word, right? It means the passing of the oaks. However, I work for people out of Paso Robles, so I say Paso Robles.
You guys just got I'm sure you guys stopped scrolling already, but you already got a knowledge bomb in the first 30 seconds. We have so much content for you today. Smash that like button. Please subscribe. It really helps us out. And comment too, share, save. We love deep engagement. Talk trash. We love it. We like to give it back too. But without further ado, we can start tasting, I think.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to start with the Chardonnay from Ancient Peaks.
All right.
So wherever, ladies, if you'd like to give us some tasting notes or some background, some story, that's cool. Whatever.
Absolutely. So to start with the Chardonnay is just very lightly oaked. Only about 13% of the wine goes on new French oak for about 5 months. Ancient Peaks has got one of the most interesting stories of how anybody ever got in the wine industry, in that I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Paso Robles wine region, but if you take a look at the region, we sit at the very southern tip of the region on a 14,000 acre working cattle ranch called the Santa Margarita Ranch. Yes, we do work for cowboys. We do raise all natural hormone-free Angus beef as well. And in about the mid 1990s, the ranch was acquired by 3 families who are our employers. Mm-hmm. So we worked for Carl Winstrom, Rob Rossi, and Doug Filipponi, who were able to acquire this extremely historic ranch in that time frame. The ranch has been in existence since 1774 and has only changed hands 5 times in all of that time period. We're going to get into a little bit more of the story as we go on with
that's
with
great.
Mike and
that was
Holly,
awesome.
because it's got a really fun story behind it, but the Chardonnay is really delightful.
That was one of the better introductions. Cheers to that.
Cheers.
Let's go.
And I'm a Chard girl, as everyone knows, and this is delicious.
I'm a Chard girl too. All my white burgundies and very well balanced California Chardonnay.
And with the Chardonnay, we're definitely looking for more of that clean style. So it is 87% aged in stainless steel, and then 13% aged in oak, French oak, for 5 months, with malolactic just on that 13%.
So this is not ABC Chard, right, Holly, because of the steel?
Correct, yes. This is definitely kind of that cooler climate, balanced, we really want to showcase the fruit and the acidity and what Chardonnay has to offer, as opposed to putting a bunch of heavy oak and malolactic that's going to give you wood and butter.
No wood and butter.
Just purity of Chardonnay.
And refreshing.
Yeah.
So refreshing.
It's hot out, so drink this. Drink this Chardonnay.
Okay, now, all right. We tend to have a problem with brand ambassadors not verifying prices with accounting before they come on the show. So this is way too cheap. This is way too cheap for this much value.
Well, I'm going to tell you that all of our wines fit into that category. See, so these wines are all family-owned, estate-grown, single vineyard wines, and most of them you will find for under $20 in retail.
Woo!
Yeah.
Wow.
Also, really great press on the vast majority of our wines as well. And to Holly's point about cool climate, where we sit in Paso is actually the very coolest microclimate in all of Paso Robles. We have 50-degree diurnal shifts in temperature on a daily basis. So, 100 during the day, 50 at night. So it really allows us to get our acids up and really just produce these really beautifully balanced.
I mean, who does not want to go there right now?
100 degrees a day, 50 at night. That's
50
like
at
the
night.
Twilight Zone or something.
It's like heaven.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's like heaven. I just want to wrap my head around it. I mean, yeah, we've got to go. Yeah, okay.
The grapes get a good night's sleep. The people get a good night's sleep. It's all good stuff.
Well, I'm not a Chard guy, as you guys know. Holly's the big Chard connoisseur. This was okay, where is the Chard on this sheet? Is it on this sheet?
I don't believe that we've actually gotten any press, or at least we've gotten like a Best Buy, but I don't believe we've gotten a 90 plus. And you're looking at only our 90 plus point score.
But we've got Mike's approval.
Well, we've got Mike's
Okay,
approval.
I just wrote my score, Holly. I just wrote my score, Holly. Okay, I want you to write your score, and then we're gonna share. No pressure.
Okay.
Just write it.
Write it anywhere.
Write
Okay.
it anywhere. Okay.
All right.
No. Maybe write it on the back of
On
that.
the
You got it in
back?
the
Okay.
room. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just write your score there, and I've got my score. No pressure.
No pressure.
Moment of truth.
Dun, dun, dun.
We are going to rate this. We are going to score this Chard. Sorry, Suckling and Dunnick, you guys are asleep at the wheel, and we're going to take over.
Okay. I wrote my score.
You got yours score?
I did.
Okay, what'd you give him, Holly? Holly gave him a 91.
Yeah.
Wow, and she really knows Chard. So a 91 from Holly's.
And with 2 stars.
2 stars and a smiley
Yes.
face and half a pound of roast turkey.
But that would be a great pairing with this. Thanksgiving is sort of coming soon,
Absolutely.
right?
Where we are.
And so this would be a great addition to the Thanksgiving table.
I gave him a 92, guys.
Oh,
Hey!
They're just really so nice. They agreed to come on this show. We met in the parking lot of Giant Food earlier, and they had all this wine in their trunk. And I was like, I know them. I was like, oh, I just met them. Let's
Yeah.
do the show.
Gentlemen
You know?
and I have had to
go.
study together.
Oh, that's right. So
Yes.
where are you in that process, though? Everyone wants to know.
Oh, 1 exam left in October.
And you will be a
WSET diploma.
WSET diploma.
Yeah,
And
so
where are you in
graduate
the
level.
process?
I have 2 classes left.
Okay, cool. So, all right. So let's support them in their journey as they,
Yeah.
Because the
Absolutely.
more they learn, the more we learn, and everyone learns. So, okay, great. That Chard was awesome. Wow, one for one or home run out the gate. What's next
And if
here?
Sauvignon Blanc.
Okay, let's do that.
If you liked
Sauvignon
our
Blanc is very
Chardonnay.
popular these days.
If you liked our Chardonnay, our Sauvignon Blanc's going to blow you away.
Okay, that's
So,
great. That's great. I've had good Sauvignon Blanc on the show, believe it or not, even though I'm not a fan.
It's not my favorite
Sure.
varietal either. And if I am going to drink Sauvignon Blanc, it's normally like from
The Amazon
Milwaukee.
guys at the door, 2-6, guys.
No,
You need
Amazon
some
guy.
This is our maintenance person
Yeah.
working hard out there. So
On Airport Road.
We're coming to you live from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Airport Road today. Get to drop by and
He just knew we were drinking Sauvignon Blanc and wanted to ring the chimes,
yes, ring the chime. So we have the 2022 vintage Ancient Peaks Sauvignon Blanc. You guys list all the soil profiles on here?
So yeah, we actually sit on very unique and diversified soils. We have 5 distinct soil types on the property. Our most coveted is, if you all can see right in front of you, these are magnificent oyster fossils. I have a 12-pounder at home, sits on my mantle, but these break down to 93% calcium in
Wow.
the soil.
That's like
And
12
it's
pounds.
our most coveted soil, but we also sit on rocky alluvium, shale, volcanic, and granitic soils as well. So on the back of every one of our bottles, we put in a soil chart, which actually shows you the specific soil types that each wine is grown in. So we're all about our dirt. The actual Sauvignon Blanc is grown in the rocky alluvium soils and in the very coolest part of our vineyards. This wine got amazing press. Can you tell them what kind of press this one got, John?
Yes, so this got 91 points Wine Spectator. 90 points Wine Spectator, I'm sorry, and 90 points Wine and Spirit.
I'm going to give you that 1 point.
I gave it a 91.
There you go. There you go.
I believe it's also gotten a couple more like 92 point scores, hasn't it? That we don't
Tasting
even have on
panel.
this tasting panel gave it 92
Yeah.
points. So yeah, the wine's really become very popular this year and is just tasting beautifully.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, how frequently do like Sauvignon Blancs Holly get 90 scores, 90 point scores? Is that unusual or?
No.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
Okay,
no.
all right. Maybe I just don't. Maybe I overlook them because I'm a Brunello guy. But
Now, when we get to our rosé, it's rare to have a rosé with 92 points.
Yes, that
So
is
you
See?
just jumped ahead.
she's helping.
That
I
is
love
true.
that she's helping.
That is
That's
true.
why she's working out 2 more classes, and then she's gonna just take over the show.
The beautiful
We-
thing about this Sauvignon Blanc, it has a really nice, like you get the acidity on the finish, that kind of zesty, bright finish to it.
It passes the cat
Gets
piss
that little
test.
tartness on the
Thank you.
finish.
It passes the cat
The
piss
Pepe
test.
Le Chat, yeah, the
Is
Pepe
that the
Le
French?
Chat.
Is that the French way to say it?
absolutely.
Okay, thank you. No one's ever said that on the show. We're just middle class kids, and so we say cat piss. But thank you for the French way of saying it. I know that's a big critique of Sauvignon Blanc is the citrusiness.
Yeah, well, I mean, generally, and if you're talking about New Zealand especially, right, you're talking about grapefruit here, where this is more like a lime zest. It's not really a grapefruit. And it has a really lovely tropical note to it as
Yeah.
well. I mean, I get like guava
Yes.
off of this,
Passion
right? I
fruit.
get a really beautiful tropical note, but it's just really clean, bright. I'm not a Sauvignon Blanc drinker, and I've been drinking this like crazy this summer. So it's yeah.
Well, let me check the alcohol content to find out the real reason. 13.5, not too shabby on the alcohol content. Is that pretty good, Holly? Or
That's great.
That's
I
great.
mean,
It's
it's,
average
you know,
for Sauv Blanc.
And it, when you have that type of alcohol content, 13.5, the wines are going to be food friendly, right? It's got acidity. It's going to make your mouth water. You're going to reach for a second glass. You're going to want to have food with it because your mouth is watering, right? So it's going to make you want to have more food. So it's a great by the glass option at a restaurant too.
Awesome. Pairs with anything.
Yeah.
I think.
For
Pairs with
sure.
Sushi, pizza.
Goes really
Yeah.
well with oysters.
Oysters,
that are in our store.
oysters, those oysters down there with these. Does anybody want to cleanse their palate before we get to the reds?
We're good.
No.
I'm good.
Sure, I'm
yeah,
good.
would you like?
I'm
okay,
good,
all right.
yeah.
Because I'm really excited about your reds. So I don't know.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we kind of glossed over a little bit, but the name Ancient Peaks, and you'll see on all these labels. I think we're going to get into a term here that our friend Chris Benzinger gave us, geological lasagna, right? So yeah, we have to bring that term back. I love that. But it's really, we have these ancient fossilized seabeds that are within the soils because there's a plate underneath the ground that's pushing up to create this peak, and you have those old soils. And then you mentioned volcanic and all these other soils, that's really making this wine what it is, in addition to the cooler climate. And so, anyway, I had to get the word geological lasagna.
I'm
in.
glad you did. That's worth that word. That's worth at least 100 likes, you guys.
Yeah. And the
Please.
tectonic plates are
Yeah.
definitely a big influence here. So even the packaging is pretty well thought out. On the front of the labels is actually the stratifications of the 5 different soil types that Holly was just referring to.
Their texture,
But
too.
we are really
Yes.
about talking about not only our dirt, which is really diversified. Actually, I've been doing this for longer than I care to admit, and this is the most diversified soils I've ever seen in a vineyard.
How long have you been doing this?
Over 30 years old.
With-
30 years I've been selling wine. I've been with Ancient Peaks for 8 years.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Yeah. So.
You're kind of defying logic because you're only like 26. But okay.
Thank
Started as a baby.
Yeah, she started out the cradle. That's awesome.
But the diversification of the soils is really amazing here. I mean, I don't know if you know, Holly. I don't think I've ever seen another vineyard that actually has 5 soil types. I mean, most others have like 1 or 2. They don't have 5. So it's really a unique area.
But why are you guys such a sleeper, honestly? Because I mean, we interview
No,
some.
I agree with
We
you,
interview
yeah.
some heavy hitters,
Mhm.
and we've had only your whites. I haven't got to your reds, and you
Sweet.
really blew me away with your whites. They're not paying me. Of course, full disclosure, I'm not getting paid. I just get free wine. But but why do you think that you guys are this sleeper in this 90-point club with all this lofty club? Look at all those 90s Guys, 90.
This 90-point club with extremely affordably priced wines. Why are we a sleeper?
Why?
You know why we're a
sleeper?
sleeper? We're a sleeper because we are a family-owned company that doesn't have millions of dollars to throw into advertising and to be in every publication. We don't pay to be in publications, so the only way that we do get the press is if our wines are reviewed and then they see how great they are. So that has, I think, every bit to do with it, is because the wines are beautiful and they are really reasonably priced for their quality levels.
And now let's say if I walk into a Paso Robles burger joint, will I see, apparently one of these pairs really well with burgers.
All of them.
Oh, okay. Will I see Ancient Peaks on a wine list?
Yes.
So that's very telling.
Yeah.
Right,
We're
to be
we're
on a
very
wine list.
popular. Yeah.
What the locals drink in Paso,
Sure.
that's very telling. They're drinking Ancient Peaks, guys.
Yeah, we're
That's pretty cool.
we're all over the place in Paso. You'll see our ones, all through the Central Coast region, actually. But coming to the East Coast, also, I mean, these wines really only started. They were on the East Coast before I started working for them, but they were only in the Mid-Atlantic, and so actually that was my job, was to actually create a distribution network for the company. And now we're, all throughout the Eastern Seaboard. We are with Winebow in all, 16. Is it 16 of their 17
16.
markets, right?
Yeah.
16 of their 17 markets.
Are you in the District of Columbia?
Yes,
We
Okay,
are.
we have a presence there.
Oh,
so
wonderful.
Good to know.
absolutely,
Okay, cool.
yeah. But yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it. Is we don't have tons of money to throw into advertising and that kind of stuff. So this brand has been grown very organically. It has gone from 7,000 cases sold on the East Coast to it should be about 23,000 this year in a short period of time. So and we're not that big. We only produce 70,000 cases, so on California standards,
Across
we're
all your
actually
lines, yeah.
exactly, and that's kind of small to medium size when you actually consider a California winery.
Kim Crawford does 5 million cases a year.
Yeah,
Right, exactly.
something like
Something like that.
Like Jay,
something like that.
Dow does tons and tons of cases. Jay Lohr, who has actually, one of the companies that really built Paso and really good friends of our winery. I mean, they do 2 million plus cases. So these guys have got a lot of wine to sell. We're kind of small, and
You're very grounded too.
yeah.
You're very grounded. I love your humility because this Merlot.
Isn't this one?
This is where you're gonna be bold. We don't
So
work
please don't be
for the
humble.
winery. Yeah.
Please don't be humble. Tell me about this Merlot. It is delicious.
Yeah, so the Merlot is exclusively grown on the ancient seabed. So the fossilized oyster fossils are aged to anywhere like 13 million years old, estimated, and breaks down in 93% calcium. So these vines really have to struggle. They produce very small yet intense berries, very low yield. And you see that in the fruit in this wine too. This wine is dry, it has acidity, some plum, black cherry, some blackberry notes to it. Soft, smooth, velvety tannins, but still has structure.
It's amazing.
Drinks way above its weight.
Way above its
Way
weight.
above its weight.
Everyone loves to say this drinks twice above its weight, but this really does.
This really
That's
does.
right.
Yeah.
This really does. And Merlot is in the middle of a resurgence right now in
Yes,
Hollywood.
it is making its way back.
Thanks to a lot of Washington State guys.
Yeah.
But let's not, you guys are overlooking the Paso guys. How long have you been making this Merlot?
Oh,
Since 2005.
yeah.
Oh,
since
wow.
our
So this
first
is like your
vintage.
15th vintage. Wow. That's a
So
lot.
yeah, also we've only been making wine since 2005. So actually, if we could get into that a little bit
Sure.
about how these guys got into business, because it's really a unique story. So
Okay. It started with a bottle of Merlot.
well, actually, it started with the Mondavi. It started with the Robert Mondavi family. So
That is cool.
what,
We're big fans of
yeah.
them.
So what happened
They
was
come up in every show.
after the ranchers purchased this beautiful ranch. You're fine. There you go. The Robert Mondavi family was looking for vineyard land in the Paso region. This was late 1990s, so it was actually while Mondavi was actually putting vineyards in all throughout California, right? They came across Paso and then asked if they could survey the ranch. When they surveyed the ranch, they found all these crazy soil types, you know, the ancient seabed, all the other 4 soil types. They found that we sit in the very coolest microclimate of all of Paso, and that we get more rainfall than anyone in Paso. So they go back to the ranchers and they say, hey, we'd really like to put some vineyards on your property. So they sign a 35-year lease with the Mondavis to put in 1,000 acres of vines. Mondavis come in, they do everything. They do all the plantings, irrigation, surveys, spend millions of dollars on the property.
They gave you your roots.
And then in 2004, Constellation buys Mondavi. Well, it turns out to be a big windfall for the ranchers because they have a clause in their contract that says if Mondavi ever sells, they have a pathway to get their property back.
Right of first refusal.
Right. So for a mere fraction of what's invested in their property, they end up with 1,000 acres of prime vineyard land.
That's the American dream, guys.
Absolutely.
That's how you
It's
do
like
it.
winning the wine lotto. And that's how Ancient Peaks got
That
started.
is so cool. They have roots with Mondavi. That makes sense. There's always some Italian in the background.
Making it all happen, right?
Well, you married one.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And Holly's Italian.
Yeah.
Holly's we're pro-Italian on
I'm
this.
adopted by Italians from the winery.
Bam!
Behind every good wine, there's an Italian.
There you go.
The Rossies and the Filippones.
Yeah, we're all
you know.
next to Italian.
You're owned by 2 Italian. That is awesome. That is an awesome origin story.
Isn't that correct?
Yeah,
Is that one of the better ones?
I think so.
That's
I
a
really
top-
do think so.
That's got to be top 2.
I mean, you can really, I mean, you can put, at the top of the tree, you can put Mondavi, and all the sort of, everything that leads, you know, back to Mondavi is pretty impressive. But that's a really cool story. That is.
And Mondavi did his homework. He looked at
Oh,
the
God.
rainfall, you know.
Yeah.
We
found
have
these oysters.
we have surveys that fill a room from floor to ceiling that Mondavi did on the property. Soil samples, cutting into soils, figuring out all kinds of stuff. I mean, this is kind of I don't know if your audience can see this, but this is a ancient seabed soil pit.
Do you have those electronically?
Yes,
We do.
we'll send them
Cool.
to you so you can flash.
So we can do that, but you can see the first 8 inches are nothing but organic matter, but then after that, all it is this crushed stone. So this is what gentleman was talking about. When we plant into this stuff, the vines have to very much struggle, and by doing so, they produce very intense, high-quality fruit.
Limestone on steroids.
Actually, yeah, absolutely.
Limestone on steroids.
So it's just really about the porosity of our soils and everything else. It's this confluence of all this, all of these things coming together that make this like the perfect growing region. And that's the very southern tip of Paso, the Santa Margarita Ranch sub-AVA.
There you go, guys. That you just broke my like button. Well, you did it. And you're gonna do it with the I
With the
think
cab.
with the cab.
Which is our
We
number
love-
one.
King.
Every cab is king.
I do
Thank
gotta
you,
give it to the
gentlemen.
Merlot. I
Oh,
mean,
yes.
that Merlot, I mean, tell sideways to stick it in its ear, because, you know.
It's back.
It's back.
And it never left.
I know.
This is a really wow.
Yeah, it's always been one of our favorite wines that we represent. It doesn't get nearly as much attention or credit that it should, but I will tell you this, that if it says Ancient Peaks on the label, the wine is good. So
Yeah.
whether you like Merlot, Syrah, or Cab, or Sauvignon Blanc or Chardonnay. So we're actually, Paso is not a region that's known for its white wine production, but we produce really high quality white wine as well. But the Cab is stunning. So this 20, I was just drinking this the other day at a tasting, and I was like, damn, that's good.
Just look at the color. Wow. Wonderful color there. What is that? That is it's not garnet.
Ruby.
It's more ruby.
Ruby.
It's definitely more ruby.
Yep.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
So on our red wine, on our estate red wines, let me actually be clear about this, because we're gonna, after we do the Cabernet, we're gonna jump to kind of our reserve level
With this
wines.
back up here.
So what I'm about to say will not apply to the next 2 wines, but does apply to the Merlot, the Cabernet, and the last 2 reds that we're gonna do. We use a really interesting oak regimen on these wines in that we use very little new oak. So only about 20 to 25% of the wine goes on new oak. We actually do custom barrels where the butts are French and the staves are American. But we age extensively in second and third use barrels. So the least amount of time any of these wines spends in oak is 16 months, and when we get to the Renegade, it'll be over 20 months. So for wines that you can really purchase at $20, that's unheard of in the industry.
Yeah.
Single vineyard, and this time in oak. And the whole thought process behind Spending that much time in neutral oak is the more time that these grapes, this wine gets to integrate, it just becomes softer and just easier drinking and just these beautiful wines.
Okay, so I know no one talked to accounting before they got here today. That's
Do you approve the price?
You can stand by these wholesale prices? Okay. So you're gonna find these on casewinelife.com. This cab, the bouquet is insane, Holly. What am I smelling on the nose? The nose. Holly's nose knows better than my nose. But what is the nose? Because this bouquet is amazing.
Oh yeah, I mean you've got blackberry for days and some cocoa. Yeah, absolutely. All your kind of black fruits, blackcurrant.
Smokiness.
Yeah, I mean you got
Leather,
a little
some
earthy
leather,
spice. Yeah.
Pepper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Black pepper.
Yeah.
The cocoa really stands
Cocoa.
out. To me a lot. Yeah, really
That
does.
cocoa powder, like the
Yeah.
dried cocoa powder, when you open up the container and it.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
And our Cab and Merlot both have a lot of that, which is just kind of delightful. It's really nice.
So tasty.
Mm-hmm. It's really good.
I just got back from Shake Shack. So tasty. No. No. That is like the worst thing you can say. And I'm being maligned on a Facebook wine group right now for going to war with Bordeaux, but that's another story.
Oh.
But this cab, it's not a, I don't want to say it's not a big cab. It's not a big cab in a good way.
It's balanced.
It's a balanced cab. You got these big fruit bombs, right, Holly?
Yeah.
This is not a
This
big
is-
fruit bomb.
No,
But
and none of our wines are. You'll notice that actually, if there was one word to describe the entire Ancient Peaks lineup, it's balance. Every wine is just beautifully balanced. So
For $20?
Yeah, I mean,
I'll
there's
give you
just-
30.
thank you.
Done.
Take it.
Done.
Capitalism.
But yeah, I mean, this has got that layered complexity. I think that's another common thread through these wines, and it's really because there's so much to talk about here between the soils and the climate, microclimates, etc. I mean, it's just you're not going to have that fruit bomb being where this is from, right? I mean, they're going to hang out. They're going to hang out on the vines. They're going to reach optimal ripeness, and with that, and then they're going to, because of the diurnal temperature swings we talked about, right? You're going to have that great acidity. But you're not going to have over ripeness, right? You're not going to have that massive high sugar, and you're not going to have that like huge alcohol, right? This is 13.9 alcohol for a cab. Very food friendly again. Got to work with a lot of foods, and yeah.
There was a
just great
wine I was reading about, and someone saying it tasted like they dumped sugar cubes in it. You've got
None of that.
you've
That's
got
not
none
pleasant.
of that here.
No.
And I think we're not syrupy
No.
wine drinkers.
No.
This isn't syrupy. This isn't your sappy. No.
This is none of that. We don't like the Bash brands because we're very respectful of the vineyard teams that work so hard. But this is not that syrupy wine.
No.
And to your point, Holly, we actually have the longest hang time in all of Paso Robles, so we typically are finishing harvest 3 weeks after everyone else.
Interesting.
And usually it's the week before Thanksgiving, but this year they're actually thinking it'll be the last week in November.
Oh wow.
So this hang time is critical.
Yes.
Critical.
Yeah. For
Really?
the maturity of the
For the
fruit.
maturity of the
right.
fruit, great
Yeah.
And the
maturity.
acidity.
And the acidity. Are they doing this in Napa?
Some of the cabs definitely kind of get left out longer, right? Yes. I mean, so it depends on where they're from in Napa. So Napa's got, 18 sub-AVAs, right? And so you have some of your cooler ones like Spring Mountain.
Yeah, I was gonna say
and-
more of the mountains.
Yeah, more of that mountain. You're
Yeah.
gonna see longer hang times.
Just because of their climate, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what allows us to have that really long hang time is that we are that much cooler. And this year especially, we're amazingly cool this year. We're actually just hitting Eurasian right now.
Wow.
Okay. You got your AVA in '83.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, but
But
we
your
got our
ancient-
sub-AVA
You got your set when?
in 2014
In 20. So how are you ancient peaks?
because the mountain range is over 13 million years old.
Okay, and you mentioned 13 million. So we're
Yes.
talking when dinosaurs were running around.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's actually where we get the age of the fossilized oysters too, is because that's when this oyster bed came up out of the ocean with the mountain.
So like
yeah.
when Jurassic Park 1 came
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
These are the oysters they were eating.
These wines are so old, they're as old as Jurassic Park 1. Ancient Peaks. Do not sleep on these wines. I'm not. They're all going to be on casewinelife.com. I mean, for sure. And we just got to the cab. And we have a blend. We have another cab
And
coming.
the next two wines are pretty spectacular. So what is kind of fun about what we're doing here is you are tasting through 4, basically, of our Cabernets. So the Oyster Ridge, which is our flagship wine, is our true Bordeaux blend. On this vintage, 72% Cabernet?
Yes.
So what's the breakdown on this?
So it is 72 Cabernet, 11 Cab Franc, 9 Petit Verdot, 6 Merlot, 2% Malbec.
Wow.
And also does 23 months on 80%
so
new
cool.
French oak, about 2,000 cases only of this produced. So just tiny production. For this vintage, actually does come in a very impressive bottle you could beat someone with if you wanted to.
Yeah, this feels we'll do a little side by. We'll do a side by side. I thought this was a Magnum bottle.
It feels and looks like one. Yeah.
She brought the Magnums today. This is definitely 6 or 7 pounds. So we're big wine shippers, as you know, casewinelife.com. Order wine online, free shipping over $199.
There's a value, free shipping for that.
Yeah, free shipping for this. You know how much we pay in shipping. This is not going to be cheap to ship, but it's definitely worth it. And this is a 750 bottle, and we're the alcohol 14.7. Okay, so okay.
But you won't taste it.
Yeah, it's gonna be so well integrated, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So also something to the point, and just kind of talking a little bit in the future, Mike, we're gonna start saving you on shipping with the 2020 vintage. So we're gonna be transitioning, even though this packaging is beautiful and it's just impressive. We are changing the packaging on our 2 flagship wines because we're SIP certified and we need to lower our carbon footprint. The program we have on the ranch is amazing, and we just feel like we really have to do that with these wines. But the new packaging is gorgeous. It's got like copper inlays, and it's just really pretty. And that'll be with the 2020 vintage, which will be released in about a month.
Yes.
About a month or so.
Okay.
So
and you're sending Holly how many cases?
as many as she wants.
Getting
to
them all.
Yes, all of it.
Okay, so the 2020 exclusive scoop right here. You need to come to us for the 2020 vintage. But if you really, let's try it. Oh, this is like a journey. I'm like going all over the world in this. It's so layered and magnificent. Alcohol is well integrated as expected. They're not paying me anything to say this shit, okay? And you know, I wear my emotions on my sleeve, right, Holly?
Yes.
Like I've been in tastings. I'm like, okay.
Yes.
Yes. Have you seen me look at my watch?
No.
But I have.
This wine is perfect when you go into, maybe I have some Italian restaurants and I go in there and they're very bougie. If it's not Italian, they don't want to taste it.
Yeah.
You put Oyster Ridge in front of them with the acidity and minerality that this wine has, they're sold.
We call those Italian guys deckheads. Do you know why we call them deckheads though? Because they use pizza deck ovens that you open and close, and those are designed just to kill you slowly. Yes, they make a good pizza. You know, as you know, we come from the pizza business, but those deck heads or those deck oven guys, they're just so biased and what's the word? They're closed-minded, opinionated. If it's not Italian, it's not good. And so if you are winning them over, mad props to you. Because I know a lot of guys in the pizza oven business who try to sell deck heads on certain things, and it's not easy, you know. So wow, they're selling deck heads.
Well, 2/3 of the ownership is Italian.
So they know what they're up against.
So there's an
they-
Italian sensibility to the wines, right? We've talked about that before.
That's what we need in a lot of these California wines, is that Europeanness, that sensibility, and most of the viticulture teams they get it. UC Davis, I think there's got to be a class in Italian wines. Like if you go, you know, the incubator for winemakers is UC Davis.
Yeah, sure.
Did any of your guys go to UC Davis? I'm sure they did.
Actually, where did Stuart go? Did Stuart go to UC Davis, or did he go to? You know what? I think he did spend some time there. But our winemakers. So we've got two winemakers. We've got Mike Seiner, who is actually one of the most acclaimed winemakers in the Central Coast. He worked for Mondavi before coming to work for us. And actually one of the reasons he came to work for us was because of the Santa Margarita Vineyard. He just loves this property. He was on it before, when the Mondavis were leasing it, because they brought all their winemakers out there to see Santa Margarita. So when he had the opportunity to work for Santa Margarita, he jumped at the chance. And he's been with us since inception, and then Stuart was brought on just a little bit after that, and he's a real smarty pants. What has he got going on?
A cellular and molecular biology degree. And I
Whoa.
think he went to Cal Poly, and then Mike went to Fresno State.
That's what it was, Cal Poly.
Cal
That's where
Poly,
he
not
went,
too
yeah.
shabby.
But he
Very
was
good
also,
school.
he was pre-med.
Okay.
And then got lured into the wine.
Are you guys
I-
California
yeah.
people?
No,
You're
we
not
are East
Coast.
Coast girls.
You're East
yeah.
Coast. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
East Coasters need to sell on the East Coast.
Yes. They, oh, very smart. Very smart. Do we know what Mondavi was bottling with your grapes?
They never did. So they planted the vineyards between 98 and 2000, and the sale went down in 2004. So they were just starting to be able to
It
pull
takes
fruits
so
out of
many
this
years
for a
the
vineyard to
vines
mature
produce, yeah.
to
Yeah.
be able to do that.
So they couldn't even sell any fruit. Or,
I mean, yeah, it was a
okay.
total loss for them, I'm sure.
Interesting.
Yeah,
That
kind
is
of
so,
crazy.
but to your benefit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
And you know,
100%.
when I first started working for the winery, I was walking through the vineyards with our winemaker Mike Seiner, and the one thing that he told me that surprised him when he first looked at the vineyards was that some of our best soils were planted to Merlot. So the ancient
Another
seabed,
reason to buy that Merlot.
which also brings us back to Oyster Ridge. Oyster Ridge is grown solely where those oyster fossils are grown.
Yeah.
Why it's called Oyster Ridge, right?
Absolutely.
Top 3% grapes that we produce. And we do, we have 1,000 acres, so we take that top 35%, put in Ancient Peaks and some other private label wine, sell off the rest. Gives us the cash flow to come to market with these great prices and super high quality.
94 points, those to Ridge guys. We just
Yeah.
tasted 94.1.
Yep.
We
Yeah.
did.
Not too shabby.
Yeah.
We're about to go up from there.
I mean, Holly, would you give it 90? Oh, we are? Okay, all right.
95,
I'm
baby.
gonna shut up. I'm gonna shut up. Let's go to the 95. But, I'm sorry, I can
This one
reach
here?
it. Is
Yep.
this one here?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Okay. Holly. Okay. So this is the,
Santa Margarita Ranch Pearl Cabernet.
but it doesn't have pearl on the label
right
because
now.
right now because
It was just a
you
mistake.
ran out of ink. You ran out of ink, so it doesn't.
Well, it
it doesn't have pearl written on the label.
It was actually pretty funny, even though, you know, also like, oh no, right? So we, the first vintage was 2017, and they sent us all samples to do a tasting, and we're looking at the packaging, and I'm looking all over it, and I'm like, where's this say pearl on here? You know, like, what? So I said, okay, well, we can correct it with the next vintage, and they said, no, we've got 3 vintages bottled.
Whoa.
So
They got the labels printed.
Yeah, so the 2017 through the 2019, we have referred to as a Santa Margarita Ranch, even though all the wines are Santa Margarita Ranch, just to distinguish it. But with the 2020 vintage, this will have the new packaging, and it will say Pearl Cabernet on it. Thank God, finally.
I mean, this is a really like a true like this is a small group of families that owns this winery, and you know
They ran
small
out of ink.
production, and you make a mistake, and you know it's costly to fix, so you wait it out and.
Well,
Fix it when you
it's,
can.
it's so small. I mean, this is only 506 packs in production, so this is just tiny production.
Yeah.
Doug Filipponi, one of the owners, and Daniel Dow of Dow Vineyards actually run something called the Cab Collective out of Paso Robles, and it's an organization whose sole desire is to educate people from around the world on the quality of wines that can come out of Paso, especially Cabernet. So what they did was they got together and they put out a challenge to all the best producers in Paso to produce the very best Cabernet Sauvignon they possibly could. And this is our entry into that. So this 2019 vintage is just off the charts good. Yeah, it's amazing. Mike, what do you think of it?
I haven't tasted it yet. I'm trying to find out where it is on this list.
It's a little confusing.
It's the one that says
Right
Santa
here.
Margarita Ranch.
I'm sorry, is it the end?
So just so you know
Pearl,
too,
okay.
while you're tasting it, it's
Yes.
the top 1% of the grapes that we grow here at Ancient Peaks, Block 49 and Block 15. All ancient seabed with a little shale in there as well. We age it for 100 for 24 months in 100% new French oak barrels from some of the top coopers in France, Tonnelier, Sylvain, Terroir, hand-picked, hand-sorted, just the best winemaking techniques on this.
You taste it.
Yeah.
I mean, and then for $75, it's definitely hitting like twice above its weight, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, you know, I mean, I would put both these wines up against wines that are $200-300 retail. I mean, and and you can sell these for $65 to $80.
Thanks for bringing
Yeah.
$75 wine to my tasting today.
Absolutely.
Because we love all wines, and I'm at war with some people on Facebook right now about some.
I can't wait.
Let's get over that. I got bruised up over the weekend. Holly knows the whole story, but I do appreciate 95 point wine. I mean, how can you not? We're not snobs because we were drinking $20 Merlots, and we were having so much fun with that.
And the Merlot is delicious.
And the Merlot is amazing for $20, $19.99 if you want to, split hairs. But for $75, wow, Holly. I mean, Manning would enjoy this, right?
Manning would thoroughly enjoy it. He's going to be very sad to have missed it.
Manning is Holly's
probably be bringing
awesome,
some home tonight.
awesome
Yeah.
husband.
I think we can leave some for
We'll
him.
leave some for him.
So this does well in steakhouses.
Well, I mean, it's such small production. It's only 500 cases
Oh,
for
shit.
6 packs.
For oh my
Six
God.
packs
So
for
how
the
much do you
entire
have,
country.
Holly? How much do you have? Right
So we actually do. Do you know what's in inventory at Window right now?
Maybe 15 six-packs,
Yeah,
if that.
we got enough.
Yeah.
We got some for you.
15, 6
We
We-
can get more.
I will tell you, we
Yeah.
are down to the last 100 six-packs at the winery on this vintage,
Okay.
and then right after that, we'll move into the 2020.
Yeah.
So.
So if you want it, you got to get it. I mean, you have
95
to.
Because that's an
Seek it
entire
out.
country that's covering.
Yeah,
too,
yeah, yep.
6 packs.
That is
yeah.
really interesting.
And this
okay.
is so limited and so allocated that we only show it to specific customers.
Okay, ones with YouTube channels.
Yeah.
So all 3 people. Oh, no, we have a lot of subscribers now.
We only sell it to people who get in wars on Facebook.
Oh, thank you. Oh, you know what? I will cite this. That Ancient Peaks Pro Cabernet will go toe to toe with any Bordeaux. Any Bordeaux that is attacking, any Bordeaux lover that's attacking me right now, because we respect Bordeaux, the
Absolutely.
region.
Yes,
Well, of
absolutely.
course we respect it, but the Bordeaux lovers that are attacking me, you don't deserve respect.
Well,
But-
Well, I mean, also what's interesting about these versus like higher end Bordeaux is that these wines are ready to drink, right? I mean, they don't have to be cellared. They are
Thank
ready
you.
to drink.
Thank you.
And and I love a good Bordeaux, but generally you have to lay them down for a considerable amount of time. And whereas these wines are ready to drink.
It's just so accessible,
Yes.
inclusive.
Yes.
That's what
Yes.
we love
Yeah.
about California. Take notes, Bordeaux wine lovers who are attacking me. Yes, this is why we appreciate our friends here from Ancient Peaks today. Awesome. Do you go by JJ?
I do. Laura calls me JJ.
I call her
sometimes.
JJ all the time.
Okay, so we have JJ and Laura here today. I didn't expect this to be such an awesome tasting.
Cool.
I really did.
know.
I had low expectations. I don't know why. Maybe because I drank too much last night. But
You forgot. What did Holly
no,
put on
I was
the
like, Holly, do
table?
we have a tasting today? And then she's like, yeah,
I'm only showing you the best.
we have Ancient Peaks. I was like, okay, that sounds interesting. I knew. I'm totally new. I'm unbiased. I'm impartial. I knew nothing about these wines. I got a text at like 8 a.m. today. Where the hell are you? Are you coming? And then I've been so impressed ever since a Chardonnay that I tasted like 15, 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And, Holly knows I'm not a Chardonnay drinker. I leave the shards to Holly.
I actually love that because I'm thrilled that you got to taste these, and I'm glad that your expectations were not, up to par for these wines because these wines are stunning, and I'm glad they played it well.
These are off the beaten path wines, right?
Exactly.
Like, you're gonna have to know something about Paso and the wines that are made there to be able to go find this and seek this out. And on this show, because we've got the Bazzellis, who are a family-run business, right? We want to be able to showcase other family-run businesses.
Yes.
And small production wineries, and this is one of those. I mean, they don't get the big attention that a lot of them get, right? And so we can work with Mike to get word out about some of these folks like Ancient Peaks that are just doing amazing work and have amazing, beautiful properties that, there's so much to talk about. I was really taken by it. A lot of the efforts that they do with, sustainability and how they're achieving that, and the cattle ranch. We didn't talk about the cattle ranch that they have on the property and how they're helping to prevent fires in California with their grazing program, and it's just, and then they have being cat lovers here at the table, and my cat right off camera there, sunning herself, embarrassingly sunning herself. They have a wild cat program that helps with protecting the grapes and the vineyards, and it's a cool, magical place. So
Absolutely.
happy to bring that to everyone.
And we love to have people come visit, so please come visit. We've got 6 zip lines on the property.
Oh,
We have,
cool.
actually, it's a 2.5-hour zip lining tour that we do, but
That's cool.
all kinds of other fun stuff to do as well. And then if we are gonna taste further, right, into the rest of the
Yeah, we
wines,
got a
okay.
couple left to do.
Taste
So-
the heritage grape of Paso.
Exactly.
Zinfandel.
So did want to tell
Excited
you
about
guys
this.
from here we the reason that we taste our Cabernets together is because we like to keep the Bordeaux varietals together when we're tasting. And now we're jumping into our Zinfandel, and then we will go to our Syrah-based blend.
Thank you.
So if anyone reads Wine Spectator, the Zinfandel has definitely been a favorite over the years, in terms of articles written about, going and finding the best Zinfandel in Paso or Central Coast or best value. There's been a lot of articles written about this particular Zinfandel. Yeah.
It ages me because it brings me back to the days of when I used to sell Ravenswood, when it was actually like a real brand.
Oh my
Me
God.
too. Yes.
Right?
Yes. Me too.
Like when it was like a real brand,
Yes.
and it was just it shows restraint.
Yes.
It's not one of these highly alcoholic, over the top zins. It's just beautiful fruit and spice. I love this, especially during the summertime with like anything off the grill.
Mhm.
It's just an amazing wine. Put a little chill on it. Ribs, roasted vegetables, whatever you got coming off the grill, this wine is like perfect for that. And again, this is like a $20 retail bottle of wine.
And Zin, although it was the heritage grape, it's only 6% of the total plantings now in Paso Robles.
Wow.
So truly a gem here at
Yeah.
Ancient Peaks, and we really value our
90
Zinfandel.
points too. By Wine
Yes, this
Spectator.
is,
And wine enthusiasts.
And wine enthusiasts.
Really nice, just classic Zin, right? I mean, this is, it really, to me, this is what Zin should be. I think Zins can get very overly extracted
Yes.
and just, and certainly that's a style a lot of people love. We know this. But this is just a beautiful, elegant style Zin. Don't get me wrong, this has got fruit for days. This has got all that beautiful Zinfandel fruit,
yeah.
and and it's got the spice, and we talked about balance and layers, and
Some Zins really have to be decanted for a while. We just opened these a few minutes ago.
Exactly.
So ready to drink.
Mhm.
That's just like Laura said. They're just so ready to drink.
Well, and actually, Jenny, can you talk about our rootstock with these wines as well?
Yes. So back in 2006, which was only a year after we bought back the lease on our land, Kent Rosenblum was actually buying Zin grapes from us, called up one of our owners, Doug, and said, "Hey, Doug, I need you to plant more Zinfandel." Well, this was 2006. We had 1,000 acres planted by Mondavi, and our owners were kind of cautious, and we don't really want to plant more Zinfandel, but they decided, well, maybe if we could get some rock pile original cuttings, then we'll do it.
Okay.
So they call them back up and they're like, Ken,
yeah.
all right,
Yeah.
we're doing a rock pile vineyard. We don't want to go to a nursery. We're not going to a local nursery. If we can get in our pickup truck and come up to Sonoma to rock pile and get our own cuttings and bring them back and plant them, then we will plant more
Great
Zinfandel
story.
for you. He
Great
said
story.
yes, so we did. Came back. By the time we grafted them down at Ancient Peaks, and then only 6 months later, Rosenblum sold to Diageo. But another windfall for our owners, because by the time these grapes were ready to go, Ancient Peaks was really up and running, and so was our Zinfandel. So now it's 50% the rock pile clone and 25% Taldeschi and 25% Deaver.
Can you guys just sell
Okay,
me like a
and
tree
so
or
I will just
something?
tell you.
Yeah.
So Deaver's in. So that is one of the oldest commercially available Zinfandels in the country, planted in 1881. And so you've got very, very old vine Zin cloned here, right? So
Right.
for cuttings, and then Tedeschi. I mean, same thing. I mean, like these are rock pile. I mean, you go find single vineyard Zins from these types of places, and you know they're phenomenal, but you're also going to pay more for them. And you know, so this is, you know, you take three really phenomenal places for Zin and put them together.
In Paso.
Yeah, in Paso.
In
In
Paso.
Paso.
Robles. Robles.
Robles.
Yes.
Robles.
If you want to say it like the people that live there.
Yes.
Wasn't that Robles?
That's a
Robles.
Robles.
Or that
Right
one?
here.
Is it this one? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Are these your own like branded toppers or?
Those are
Those are Haley corks. Are you familiar with these?
No, I'm not.
These are awesome because they keep the air out of the bottle. So Haley corks, if you use these, your wines will just stay fresher longer because they don't allow air into the bottle. They cost what, like, well, we get them wholesale. We pay like $5 each one, but
Okay, yeah, we should have these Haley
But
corks.
these are really awesome. Yeah.
Or Corvan, right? Or I don't know.
Well, Corbin's great too, but if you don't,
Well, Corvan's like you're cheap.
necessarily-
If you come like
No.
anybody comes to me with Corvan for a tasting, I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
No.
Like you're pouring, okay? I know what they're doing with the Corvan. They want to go like 16 other stops, and then no, you're pouring, buddy. Save your Corvan for the next stop.
We want to keep our presentation nice and clean, and it helps
Yeah,
with
I
that
know.
as
The
well.
Corvan is like you're
You don't
pouring
have
out
to, you
this
don't have to
little.
pull the corks every time. You
Well,
know?
the Corvan, honestly, for presentation is really shitty.
Really? That's
I just think it is. I mean, you're pouring like you make this
Yeah,
little
yeah,
tiny
right.
hole,
A little
maybe
stream.
a microscopic hole in the cork, and then you pour. I feel like a big account now. Oh, give me a truckload, JJ. Just give me a truckload right now. You just put this little microscopic hole in that thing, and you want me to buy a truckload.
Oh, that's so
give me a truckload. Oh, no, give me 2 truckloads. Am I right? I don't know.
I love these Haley corks because, I mean, as you know, what we do as wine professionals, we go taste
Thank
wine
you.
with people all the time. These will keep your wines fresh for at least a couple days, and they're also just wonderful because you don't have to keep pulling out the corks. You know, you got to keep doing that. You just pop a
Keeps the
little thing in there,
presentation clean.
and they're nice.
The
Yeah.
color. Look at the color.
Yeah.
So Renegade is our Syrah-based blend. Up until 2008, it was the Ancient Peak Syrah, but as we all know, that California Syrah is damn near hard to sell. People are drinking Côte de Rhone, don't really realize that there's Syrah in it, and so what happened was our owners decided, let's switch up the name, give it a cool brand name, and see what happens, and so they chose Renegade. And so 2009, we switched it to Renegade. At that time, there was a little bit of Malbec in the blend, but it's become our blend over the years. So not just Syrah, so always based off of Syrah. So it's 67 Syrah, 27 Petit Verdot, and 6% Malbec.
Why is California Syrah hard to sell? You touched on something very interesting there.
You know, I guess everybody's got a theory, right?
Yeah, right.
Like the
You know,
Bordeaux
That's a
wine
loaded
library.
I got a really bad joke to tell. I don't know.
No,
if I
please
should.
tell it.
Okay.
Please
What's the difference between syphilis and Syrah?
Tell me.
You can get rid of Syrah. I mean, you can get rid of syphilis.
I thought people liked Syrah. I thought people liked Syrah.
Okay, so we do love Syrah.
Yeah, we do.
I love
We
Syrah.
love Syrah. People love Syrah. They just don't know that they enjoy it.
Most Psalms will say the one wine that they want, if you're
Correct.
stranded on an island, it
Yes,
would be Syrah.
But Psalms aren't the ones always buying it.
Psalms
It's
are
the actual
assholes.
consumers that are buying it. We need the consumers to buy it.
99% of Psalms are assholes. Like the ones that are on Facebook wine groups right now attacking me. Assholes. We know like some really cool Psalms, like Jason.
Jason, hands down my favorite, and he's why I'm here at Winebow.
Jason's
Yes.
last name.
Jason Whiteside?
Tesoro.
Jason
Tesoro.
Jason Tesoro,
Yes.
Barbersville.
Yes.
Oh,
Amazing
okay.
Psalm, amazing Psalm. There was
Barbersville
another Psalm
Winery?
I met too.
They actually, I
Mike
think they're
Mercari.
Yeah,
nice stuff.
they make great stuff.
Yeah.
Please give him a shout out if he's an awesome Psalm.
Oh
What's his
yeah,
name?
Michael Mercarian.
Okay, great. We love him. We love Mike.
he's
Okay.
great.
If you're a cool Psalm, you get shout outs. If you're an asshole, you know where you can go. How do Psalms approach ancient peaks?
Well, I think at first, kind of like, I think like you. I think it was kind of like they don't really know. They're kind of like, yeah, who's this Paso? That's Paso. You know,
Psalms
I
don't
mean,
like
and you
Paso?
get a lot of Psalms don't care for Paso a lot.
Even with
well,
Austin Hope Dow and you guys?
Well,
like-
some of
But I-
Paso is way over the top.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand why that there is this like, like kind of like Paso type of feeling that a lot of people have, but.
you guys are the cool
but
kids, though.
but we are the cool kids,
Yeah.
and
We
we
are
sit in
the
the
cool
cool
kids,
climate.
yeah.
We're the cool
I think
kids
once they
all
taste
around,
these wines,
so-
their minds will change because
Absolutely.
this is when you talk about what we talked about the soils, the geography, the
Yeah.
geology, the climate, all these factors, right? They're family run, family owned, all of this stuff. I mean, this is a Somm wine
It
for
is.
Paso, right?
Absolutely.
This is a
and
Somm wine for Paso, you basic
because
people.
this isn't
Somm wine for Paso.
this isn't overly extracted and jammy
More
and
cool climate.
gigantic, like just no layers, no complexity, just in your face alcohol, high alcohol, right? Like that's what some wines can be. And and I think that's what drew people's attention to Paso. But now that they're exploring it, we recently got a number of new sub appellations within Paso because people realize, hey, Paso isn't just Paso, right? There's different styles of wine coming out of Paso. There's different microclimates within Paso, and so now we have the sub appellations, and so people are now really kind of starting to kind of explore. And we I don't know if she's in there. And so I mean we talk about Syrah and hello Miss Ripley. Come on.
Ripley, you gotta make an
And
appearance.
Gotta make an appearance.
There we go.
Yes.
There we go.
We just broke the
We
internet.
just broke the internet.
Ancient Peaks, you guys gotta go back and
We
make
have
more.
a wild
Like
cat
Ancient
program.
Peaks,
We
yes.
have Ancient Peaks.
You
has a
guys need to
wild
go
cat
back home and make
program.
more. She just broke the internet. Go back home. They're gonna need
She
help.
likes the Merlot.
They're gonna need help in production. I'm sorry.
Ripley gets to help them with the wild cat program.
She can help us with the moles, the moles, and the mice.
This is the Psalms wine for Paso. I love the selling point.
Yeah.
I love it because the
Yeah,
irony
it
too.
is.
The asshole song be like, I'm not drinking that. It's not Bordeaux. It's not Chateau shit. Like, so. I'm Italian. I can talk shit about other Europeans, but it's the irony here, right, Laura?
Yeah.
Is that the Psalm will say, okay, you're Paso, you're not Napa. But then Holly just said the wines are so layered, they have so much character, European sensibility, that it's the Psalms wine of Paso.
Absolutely, and if actually, if we can just and we do this all the time, we get in front of Psalms, and at first I think they're kind of like, what we tasted, it's Paso, and then they taste the wines and they're blown away. They're like, what? Where's this from? Huh? Yeah, I mean, because it is that very cool microclimate, and actually something to your point, which is pretty unique for us. So in 2014, Paso was subdivided into 11 sub-AVAs, and we are the Santa Margarita Ranch sub-AVA of Paso. So the AVA is 18,000 acres. We own 14,000 of the 18,000.
Ballers. Ballers.
So for all intents and purposes, we are the Santa Margarita Ranch sub-AVA. You know, it really, I think we're the only commercial winery in the AVA as well. So if
Can you just change the name from the famous Pinot Grigio?
Well, it's spelled a little differently.
Oh.
And by the way, I want to point out that we were Santa Margarita before they were. Okay.
Flex. Flex. Oh, you basic Pinot Grigio. Oh, the Pinot Grigio is really coming back hard now. Pinot Grigio is really coming back hard, right? Is it, Laura? It's good. Pinot Grigio, there's been this resurgence.
Yeah, I mean, well, Pinot Grigio's been crazy for years now. I mean,
no, that's 5 years.
Good. It'd be nice to see good Pinot Grigio come back.
But Holly actually has a bunch of good Pinot Grigio from Italy in her book at Winebow.
Yeah,
she does.
Yes,
she does, and we do buy it. We do buy it. Pinot Grigio is definitely coming back. Sauv Blanc too. Sauv Blanc is coming back. Please leave the cat right there because I need views.
It's awesome.
So I need views, and I'm hanging out with my friends from Ancient Peaks.
She's freaked out by seeing herself.
And the cats in the internet are just like peanut butter and jelly. So. And then we got some quality wine from Paso, and then I like you guys.
You like you.
No, I like you guys.
Mikey likes it.
Mikey likes it. Now, Holly knows there's a couple guys in Paso I really like.
Yes.
You're in that crew. And
well, you know what's great about Paso's? Paso's is a very inclusive community. It's not. I mean, it's yeah, exactly. It's not people going against each other, which they do in some other regions, which we will not name. But the Paso community is extremely inclusive. You know, it's the rising tide raises all ships, right? So it's really all about.
There's a lot of infighting in Napa.
I don't know. Is there?
There are unwritten rules in politics.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, we'll have Justin Smith from Saxon come and do a tasting with us.
Justin from Justin?
No, Justin Smith, who's the famous winemaker from Saxon.
But Justin Baldwin
was the original owner of Justin Vineyards. It is now owned by a family called the Resnick.
Ripley?
No, it's cool. But Holly, we need views. Holly, we need views. As long as she
that is so awesome.
As long as she doesn't turn off the camera. As long as she doesn't turn off the camera, please just turn off the camera.
That is so great.
Just don't turn off the camera. Just please don't turn it on. I don't care. I'll buy a new laptop. Just don't turn off the camera.
She's like seeing herself in there. She's like, who's that cat? Who's that cat?
Who is that?
Ancient Peaks.
Hi.
Pretty girl.
Yeah, I like. Okay.
Well, she can't get.
I just can't touch.
Yeah.
So like the yolk. I'm sorry. This cat. Okay. Yeah. This is what you get. You get cats. You get amazing wine. You get amazing education. We had female empowerment today. Empowerment today, which I love, and this like.
Let's do the rosé last but not least. Okay. We'll get to the rosé, and then we gotta wrap it up.
Oh, we do. Okay.
Yep.
I bought a lot of rosé, Laura, in like the middle of COVID. I bought a lot of rosé.
Did you buy this rosé?
I didn't buy this rosé. I bought so much freaking rosé. I didn't know what to do with. And the rosé market is so oversaturated. You know,
DC, like 2 years ago, highest per capita rosé drinkers in the country.
Well, they weren't buying from me. But we bought so much, and then I asked a good... we have another cool song friend, Doug.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have an awesome... Yeah,
Yep.
Doug Zerk's another awesome song friend, your friend and our mutual friend. But, and I asked him, I said, do you think there's too much rosé on the market? He said, absolutely. There's definitely too much.
Everybody's making a rosé, right? So you have to kind of sort through the good and the bad. But you know, this is One Stone, and this is a Pinot Noir rosé. And I mean, I look forward to hearing about this. I mean, what's striking me is the color of it, and this is absolutely. This is a absolutely beautiful.
This is a good rosé.
Beautiful color.
Because it's Pinot Noir based.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the One Stone brand is a second label, second project for us. It was actually created as a charitable giving back project. There's also a Cabernet in this lineup, and I know that your folks can't see the artwork on this right now.
No, they
Hold
can't.
up
They
the-
can't.
But the artwork is stunning on these wines. The Cabernet is quite beautiful as well. But how this came to pass was that actually one of the owner's daughters, Amanda Winstrom Higgins, because of their good fortune, wanted to create a charitable giving back project. So she created One Stone, and when she was looking for where she wanted the proceeds of this project to go to, she decided that she wanted it to be a way to empower women in the wine industry to elevate their careers. So One Stone pays for a mentorship program that we choose about 20 women from around the country every year. They are mentored by a woman named Rona Merlinger, who's one of the most sought after coaches in the industry. And she spends 6 months with these 20 women to basically hone their skills so that they go after higher levels of occupation. Because anybody that knows anything about the wine and spirits industry knows that there's a lot of men in top level management positions.
Too many men.
There's
Too
very
many
few
men.
women as far as a percentage in top level management positions.
We need more women.
So basically that's all we're trying to do is, maybe start to level the playing field there and to elevate these women so that they have the skills to go after those jobs. And that is what One Stone pays for.
That's phenomenal.
And this is 100% Pinot Noir rosé. It is all off of our ranch. We did put a Central Coast AVA on it because we know when people think of Pinot, they don't think of Paso. It's too hot. But we are actually cool enough to produce a nice quality Pinot Noir. We do just a Pinot out of our tasting room that tastes like a Sonoma Coast Pinot.
Wow.
This will
It's
kill on
actually
any
really
wine
good.
list.
This
crush.
wine is on
You do?
fire
This
throughout
has
the
got
country.
such
It's
a
doing really
nice
well,
big
yeah.
pop of fruit, and this is this is not your ballet slipper pink Provence style that has become flavorless.
Wow. Trash talking at its best. We love it.
The pendulum kind
We love
of
it.
swung too far, and now I think people are realizing and looking for flavor again, right? So now this sort of style is becoming more popular again. It used to be that this was the traditional style rosé. If you one can look at Spanish rosés
Right.
and see that. And so now we're kind of coming back more to this, and so we're seeing different styles of rosé on a wine list. And this is definitely kind of one of those that has that just really pretty bright pop of all the red berries and aromatics, and
It's still nice and dry.
Yeah, very dry.
Yeah. But yeah, this wine is actually doing amazingly well nationally. The artist is actually kind of a fun story too. It's actually a young 22-year-old artist from our little town of Santa Margarita that Amanda, her parents own a restaurant right across from our tasting room called The Range. If you guys ever come to Santa Margarita, it's a gotta eat at The Range.
Definitely.
All kinds of like wild meats and that kind of stuff.
Oh.
But anyway, their daughter Audrey Jackson had a portrait hanging up in the restaurant, which is actually our Cabernet label that Amanda saw, which is quite beautiful. And Amanda asked her if she wanted it to be her first commissioned piece of artwork.
Oh, wow.
So then when we decided to bring on the rosé, we went back to Audrey and had her design another portrait for us. And so this is a 22-year-old artist out of Santa Margarita, and it's her first and second pieces of commissioned artwork. So also uplifting a young woman as an artist out of Santa Margarita as well.
That's great. That's great. All right.
Is that it?
I think we
no
are
more from
done
HFP?
here. I know, we can keep going. No,
Well,
we're
we actually do have more, but
Not available
Not,
in
not,
the.
not available. We do have more. We have something special for you, and you have to go online to caseonelife.com to see what it is.
Oh yes.
From Ancient Peaks that is super special and only available to caseonelife.com subscribers. So please go there now. This has been an awesome interview, and we had such low expectations, and they surpassed all of them. I'm going to put this in our top 2 interviews of all time.
Wow.
Because the juice was so good. They brought a 95-point wine for me to drink today. That goes a long way with me and Holly. Not to mention their amazing Merlot and Sauvignon Blanc and their Rosé, which should be on every wine list in America. So you will be seeing Ancient Peaks back on this show today. We will be stalking them because we are fans now. So thanks for
Amen to
watching.
that.
Don't forget to smash the like button. Please subscribe. Anything you guys want to add?
Thank you. Come visit us in Paso, and please buy
Yes.
some Ancient Peaks.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Take care.